Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here for the meeting of Wednesday, the 30th of April. Thank you for meeting. Apologies for absence.
The only apology I have got is Lewis. Yeah.
Okay, any declarations of interest, please? And Rachel?
13 and 16.
Thank you. Okay, as we go into public question time, I just need to be noted that as a result of this meeting being held in a hybrid manner, members of the council and the public should be aware that the meeting may be recorded. It should be noted that members of the public may record the meeting, but we would like to remind anyone recording the meeting to notify the council if they intend to do so. Okay. Recording on Teams. This will be over Teams. Okay. So it's there. Set it here. Yes, it's on the Okay, thank you. So number 4 then, public question time after participation. Is there any questions from the public? They go first.
I've been coming to this council now for about 20 years. The last meeting was embarrassing. Obviously, there's a clash of personalities, which to me is wrong. Sometimes you've got to give a new person a chance. He wants to do it different ways, and some people don't like it. I've never seen anything like it. It's an embarrassment, to be honest, council. I should imagine. I couldn't believe it. I have been coming here longer than most a lot of you.
Longer than I have, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Dave. I'm sorry that you.
So what do you do about it?
We're hoping that our council's behaviour changes and that we are all reflecting on the past.
You should all be fighting the Caldicot, not yourselves.
I agree, the energy it takes to squabble could be best used for Caldicot.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the other thing is the loop. Someone who's disabled.
Do you want to update on the loop?
Well, no, I just want to say my say.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jim can't hear.
Yeah.
But when Councillor Bond speaks, and no disrespect to her, obviously she's quiet when she's speaking. I can't hear her. So Jim's got no chance.
That's why I see here.
Yeah, but that's easy. That's not the way out. We should have a loop.
And
It's not 5 minutes. Sure, not. Yeah, but it's not 5 minutes. It's open over 12 months. What's embarrassing? Don't say we haven't got the money.
The loop was due to be fitted yesterday. Unfortunately, the parts they're waiting for didn't arrive, so I never think it's now booked. Is it booked for next week?
No, I'm hoping it might even be in tomorrow or Friday.
Okay, so it's it's going to be by council costing. Yeah, hopefully we'll all be up and running by then. Okay, thank you for speaking, Dave.
I want to totally agree with Dave. I was at Sylvia's things as well. Absolutely. Although if this is the way it's went, no wonder Caldicot is in such a state as it is. Because wherever you look, it's run down. It needs reorganising. It is a thing. I've lived here for 60 years. I was always proud to say I was from Caldicot, but I'm not no more. You come in either end of Caldicot, it's a disgrace. And in the village where those new villages are. You might say this for wildflowers or whatever, for natural bees and all that. You can have decent flowers and plants in there. It's just full of weeds.
Are you talking about the planters in the village?
Well, the ones, the new paving out there, just down there. It's an absolute disgrace. It's lovely paving, they do a good job at that. But that really lets it down.
In your word, John, or any members of the public, that doesn't actually belong to this council, that's an MCC.
Well, surely Caldicot Town Council could have a say in what happens.
Yes, we do, and we're working at the moment to get those planters done in very.
But the trouble is, someone's coming now, and it'll be gone before we get anywhere.
But I can let you know that as of today, we've been told that we're hoping that planting's done in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
In the town centre, not Church Road, that's the Amendment Cross area, in the village itself. Thank you for your comments, John. Dave?
I think what's happened in Caldicot Town team has taken over for years and years and years, and they've just stolen your thunder. And at the end of the day, I didn't vote them in. I voted you in. I just don't get it.
Thank you. Anything else, members of the public, please?
Hi, thank you, really good. Obviously, I've read the minutes for the last challenging city meeting. It's good to hear that even if it's formally. I'm just wondering, is there any kind of, I think, rule do you take the wedding health and safety work will be completed? What if this will be known as this, you think, would not be done?
The cemetery, I'm waiting to speak with Mr. Ball, as he will be carrying out that work. He is aware that we want to go ahead with it. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah, can I, but in a minute, I had a couple of minute conversation with you outside.
That's right.
And we haven't, had a conversation about it since then, but we could have had an email or a phone call.
Okay, John, I would
or
say that if you're going to discuss contracts, that needs to be done at.
No, I'm not. Well, the only thing I will say about the contract is,
And I would appreciate if you didn't name out plan for this problem.
what was that?
If you have a problem with the fact, then you come to me.
I'm not, what I wanna know is, I haven't been paid for my contract for Matt. I put the invoice in first of April, paid for it, but I know another contractor got paid at least a fortnight, over a fortnight.
I would ask that you come to us.
And the other thing is, if you could, eventually, I'm waiting for a purchase order for the fence, I put it there, because I can't put the invoice in for that. But, you know, that is standard thing, purchase order, so I've got at least £2,000 of my own when they're standard. So at this present minute, at the end of today, I'm there on 7 saying.
Sorry?
Doing in the cemetery,
How much?
£7,000. So therefore, any work I've got to do in the cemetery, I can't afford to do it.
Okay, I would ask, this is the third time, John, I've asked, but if you can discuss contracts outside of this meeting.
Well, that wasn't a contract.
You're
the contract
discussing,
is,
you are
yeah.
discussing
So
terms
the
of the contract,
fence,
John.
I'm waiting for a purchase order, so I can't put it in.
Did this council have a
Yeah.
contract with you to do that fence?
I've got nothing in writing. I need a purchase order.
John, I will ask you please to come in and talk to us about those issues separately,
All right, well,
okay?
Yeah.
If obviously you're not happy with the work we're doing for council.
I got a few issues there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anything else from the member of the public? Jen, good morning.
Table that.
What do you say? Sorry to put you in.
936 are okay.
Right. Sorry. Anybody else from members of the public, this council? Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we can move on. Then back to the member of the public. Question, I think, was asked about the planters at either end of the town centre. That hasn't been raised again tonight, right? We come to a nip on that in a minute, but
Do you mean the planters on the entrance to Caldicot?
yeah,
You don't mean the town centre, you mean the one at
I think that was.
the entrance?
Well,
to
yeah,
Caldicot?
they belong to us.
Right, yeah.
So, information, that's such a good.
Very much. Okay, go to the agenda then, please, number 5 is minutes. 5.1 minutes, the full town council meeting held on Wednesday, the 26th of March.
Can I, excuse me, can I propose before Mr. Higginson moves that those minutes are deferred as there's quite an amount of inaccuracies in them? So do you want to go through every inaccuracy now before they're moved?
Councillor, it's a shame that you feel there are inaccuracies. I use the recording to make those minutes, so it would have been helpful.
I didn't get it, well, you know, I didn't get it until this morning, so I can't write to you and point
Okay,
out
John, do you want to go through inaccuracies now?
everyone. On, well, to start with, present, public times 2. I've been
Amended to
corrected.
7.
Sorry,
That's been amended to 7.
7.
7.
There was only 7? I thought the place was full.
No, you were thinking of the planning meeting.
I
Councillor.
apologise. So that's been corrected. Okay, I don't have to correct the copy in front of me. In relation to Member of the public inquired what's happening to the flower planters in the town centre.
Give me the page number, please, John.
The front page, 218/2024-25.
Yeah.
The response given is intent to form part of the place Ming, MING. So it's only a spelling error. Part of the quick wins, which you've just touched upon. I don't. But the question was also posed as at the planters to the entrance to Caldicot. So again, we're not there.
We can check that back on that on the recording.
So, on 70.
Just a minute, John. Do John's first.
Well, and
John?
if you want to call in,
John.
An update over the page 2024.25. An update was also provided with regards to an enforcement notice that had been issued in Caldicot. It doesn't mention where that enforcement notice is.
Deliberately so, councillor, we wouldn't publish where that enforcement notice is.
Thank you for that. The meeting was suspended. That's a standing order issue for debate later on. The over the page 2025/24, but below Armed Forces Day, second paragraph from that aspect. The MCC don't use scoop, they use shoop, SCHOOP. 2030/24/25, Caldicot Town Council's investment strategy. The need to ensure the reserve was held was raised and pointed at this was discussed a number of times in the budget preparation. The investment policy decisions would be made by the Finance Committee and then brought before Council. The Finance Committee, I don't see a date for that, so I'm not sure when that.
Is there an accuracy in that?
No, there's not that accuracy, it's just lack of information.
Yeah.
32/33/24. Again, similarly to the Finance Committee, third paragraph down.
Could you speak up?
I'm trying.
John?
It was agreed by members that the best way to take this particular aspect forward for the Health and Safety Committee should look at the assessments. But I'm not, again, when that would take place.
That's not an inaccuracy, that's just.
No,
not.
thank you. Not, but again, it went on to say it should be expedited as quickly as possible. Good. I do read them, obviously. That's as far as I go.
Very much. Yeah, did you have an accuracy?
yes, please. We've got to leave to
Sorry, I can't.
Please, John.
Councillor Crumbach declared.
Bit louder, John, I couldn't hear the number you're thinking.
172. Declaration. Councillor Crumbach declared an interesting item.
Item 20,
Is it 20? 20, is it?
that's what I've got on mine, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, now, you see you pointing at
Okay,
it.
okay. I had placemaking, and I had, written report members of Management Council and Cross and West End. This that links into
What number on the agenda?
on 22 slash 202. and across on West End Walls. And after that is council from. So like it doesn't say about the non-interruptions. I asked for it to be minuted. That was my only option to be able to democratically say I'm concerned about the number of concerns and complaints regarding what's going on in the country. That's what I was, and when I came back in the room, I apologise. This must be on the screen because this is what I said. Made an apology to the room, and because of my response to Councillor, I did not apologise to the councillor for my interruptions. She said I apologise for responding to councillor.
I was only apologising.
Actually, what I said, that's not.
Okay, so when I play back the recording, Jill, that was.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
Also, councillor,
So-
can I know you put
Hang
in,
on, come on.
can I just give you an answer to one of your points?
No, you're right. No. Just hang on, please. 3 of 7, it's, so there was a particular, resolution that the spend, to be used, 5,000 to be used for the armed forces, to be tracked by, Strong, and Councillor Strong agreed to keep the council informed, not every activity, but he would keep us informed and it be tracked.
You mean you want that added to the what was the word?
You said.
Sorry, just a minute. You mean you want that added to the agenda?
It's on the agenda,
The
it's not playing on the
minutes
agenda.
added?
No.
No, the minutes.
I'm still on, we're still on the minutes.
Yeah, so you want that added to those minutes?
Yeah, the minutes are incorrect because they don't have that. That was a resolution.
Can't be bothered to do the other
Oh,
ones?
sorry.
So we finished John.
Yes.
So do you want a response for any of those? Or?
No, just.
You don't want to respond?
I'd like to respond. I'd like to respond to one of them, please, councillor.
Okay.
Councillor, you'll see at the very beginning of the minutes, under minute number 218/2024-25, I made a deliberate decision to put in there. Councillor Bond stated that she had not received the report until just before the meeting. This was repeated at several points when various items were discussed. It pointed out that she had in fact been sent the reports at the same time all other members received them. I felt it was easier to put it into there than to put it. So I felt it was easier to put it into there than to every single item repeat what you said.
I'm not challenging, I haven't challenged that. The thing is, everybody received them late. So that doesn't negate them.
Is there any inaccuracy on
No, I'm just saying, that isn't replying to any of my points. I didn't part.
You just said you didn't want a response to the phone. You said that I asked you if you want a response, and you said no.
No, but the clerk said you wanted to
Or you
respond.
did respond.
to one of the
Are you
points.
going to carry on again, Joe? We're going to have the same situation as last man. You've heard from members of the public of embarrassing narratives.
Yeah.
So you wish to carry on, do you?
we should-
Right, very much back to the
Please don't
agenda.
do business.
5-2 then, the minutes of the planning and resources meeting held on Tuesday the 15th of April.
Madam Mayor, can I move item item number 5, item 1 and 2?
With the amendments on item 5-1,
Subject to the amendment of one.
this one.
I second that.
With the amendments to 5-1, councillor approving the minutes.
There was a minute.
I move.
Thank you. Is that a second then? Okay,
I haven't got nothing other than the agenda.
okay, can you share with your, yeah, Monica?
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I can't give you mine because I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Minutes, 5-2 then, minutes of the planning and resources, so what you're saying,
I move them as well, Madam Mayor.
is there any inaccuracies in that one, the rest of council? Any seconds for that one, please? Bob and Reed. Reed. I'm only getting a response from half council.
Sorry.
Are those agreed? Thank you very much. Thank you. Number 6, then is reports from Monmouthshire County Councils. Are there any verbal reports, please? Tony?
Yeah, just one report from New York. I've been made aware that an application came in yesterday regarding to a property on Green Lane, regarding the co-op. It's to do with, a driveway even onto the main road. It should have probably done with what kind of resources next time, but the members be aware of your, reports we get these from the clerk. Keep an eye on this one, and have your views, and I don't know what you on it, but I think it's really important one for the council to review.
Thank you.
But rather than get the delegate, really push to the delegate, I'm not quite sure, but it's important, it's obviously the plot.
You'd expect us to come out on the next planning?
I would expect members to have a note through the admin officer that this has been through this one. My, this one was on, it's my ward, it's very not to the plot,
Out of ward two.
no ward, so.
It's fine. Thank you for that. Anything else, sir?
That's the only other one, I've come to governor's registration, if I don't mind.
And just that there's a lot of upset and anxious people in Caldicot changing the domiciliary care, and there's a lot of people, needs a lot of people to understand the service they've got now, and absolutely then ensure that or go back later then and check the care, level of care is the same after.
Going back to check with you.
Sorry, so people in my ward, but I'm also people it's talking to me about what the level of care is now, and then after the change, because we change provider to a provider that's not in this area. Central to or local to this area, and there's a lot of
But if
very
you say,
anxious people that are sharing their views, just let me
do you mean those people will come back to you to share their views?
know.
They will come back after the new. Once it's, yeah, okay, thank you. Anything else, Jill, from the
Get on to say that please get in touch with your own councillor, you give anybody.
Jackie, please.
Can I just add to that? There was a discussion at the council on that.
Check to me, Jackie.
Sorry, it's down to procurement, and it was done in a way to actually to cut down costs and make it more efficient.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the care agencies lost out on some of the contracts, but they kept one big one that went out between three main players. One of the companies, I won't name them, is already long-standing in Monmouthshire. There's a new one that's going to be doing this area, but also there will be changes anyway, because what was the enablement team has actually picked up a lot of domiciliary care over the years, because the other agencies didn't pick them up. So there are going to be changes. I would welcome any of the residents, if possible, to get in touch with me, because actually, as the next social worker, I was involved when it all changed in the Monmouth team about 10 years ago. We've got a lot of people onto directly recently supported it through, because that transition is really important, and I can understand people's sort of, real fears about this. So that was discussed, and actually there was a motion, and actually we will be looking at how we procure things, how we set things out to tender, and that will be looked at from NCC. The other thing that came up at school council, which I think members in Caldicot might be interested in, I actually asked a question on Monmouthshire County Council's cultural offer within the county, and I asked a supplementary question because I was concerned that if they're doing a cultural strategy, we in Caldicot haven't got theatres and real sort of state-of-the-art arts centres and whatever that some of the other towns have got.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that they actually captured the talent and all the stuff that's going on within Sevenside. Young people are involved in. Just walked across the car park like near the band sort of foaming up in the scout or whatever. So and they came back to me with an answer for my supplementary question was, in the summer there is going to be an arts festival based in Caldicot. So I will keep people informed, because I think we need as many of the groups around Sevenside and in particular in Caldicot to get involved.
Well, I would be very happy to repeat this.
Just look, I think that was autumn rather than summer, but it might have been.
Oh, right,
Autumn.
sorry.
Okay, yeah, please.
September.
Thank you.
Autumn.
Thank you, Councillor Strong. Is there anything else from the council, please? Okay, thank you very much. Excuse me. Number 7, is any reports from council representatives, please? John?
I was going to ask, is this the moment whereby I could ask county councillors questions?
Regarding what they've just told us?
No, well, in their remit as county councillors.
Those questions would need to be put in advance, really, John. I'm sure the councillors would be happy to answer. Are you happy to answer? Yes? So, but I
You know, I need to write it to them.
Sorry?
Do you want me to go through it now or right?
You're welcome to, they've agreed.
Oh,
But ideally, we're coming in writing before.
Certainly, it's only four areas as such. Do we have a representative to attend the living levels meeting? Are you aware?
Yeah.
We do have representing Caldicot.
I did with you, but I can't go to the next one.
Okay, good, okay. The next one was, Mon County Council have been awarded 8.2 million in transport funding across the county to deliver a variety of projects. You'd be aware of that. 6.5 million has gone to Abergavenny. Well, making my maths easy, let's put 6.2. Any idea whether Caldicot getting a share of the remaining 2 million for active travel?
So we don't know.
That's what was probably a lot of it.
Good that way.
Subway, million, and through the country park, it's all part of the project in place at the moment.
So,
That money was announced 8-10 months ago. I think, right?
yeah, well, they've only just been awarded the money from the press, the media release that went, but it's pre-spent.
At least 12 months ago, 12 months ago was announced. Am I right?
Yeah.
Well, that was the Woodstock Way money, yeah.
Also, all Monmouthshire scheme.
Yeah.
A big job on Abergavenny Bridge, Narrows Bridge. Chunk of money for the schemes on the castle, Woodstock Way, and
Okay, but there's no further money to be exhausted.
Can I just add a little bit on that? Yeah, the issue is that, so whereas, previous years, the council, and the council have been able to bid for several active travel projects, including big ones, and possibly get more than one. That's now been cut back, and you can only have within the county one big active travel project in a year. So you have to prioritise. The priority has gone with Lamfoyce Bridge at Monmouth, which if you ever walk there, you'll know is a danger. And so that they've got the big spend this year. It means that next year it will be a different priority that we'll bid for. Maybe it'll come to 700, who knows? And I'm obviously, no, I'm a rocket, so not a Caldicot one as far as comes. I'll be hoping for the MD to rocket. Maybe even rocket for Caldicot Station Path. Yeah, all support. Yeah. But that's the way that works. Only one major bid can be accepted for a year for county.
Is that all of it?
Well, just if I can pick up on that
Yeah.
last point, it's my last point, and that is the active travel, and Clark kindly sent out to us all on the 29th of April. Phil Sutton 7-side active travel update. What concerns me in this is that on 3.4, if you're aware of the report, this is for 7 tunnel junction links phases 2 and 3, Roggett, STJ and Caldicot Railway Station.
Yeah.
So it says in there, we are seeking contact details of landowners of the land at Garth Allen Drive from elected members prior to outline route consultation. Now, I, like many others in the audience, have lived in Caldicot for a long time. 1945 is when coffins were taken from Roggett Station through to this church. This pathway to our left of the council buildings, as well as all that pathway down Garth Allen Drive, is a public right of way. So given it's 1945, which is 55, 70, 80 years, are we saying that is not an established right of way?
Yeah,
It's not.
it's not.
Like,
The right of way across the further north on the field, across from Roggett to Longfellow.
that's not missing. The actual right of way goes around. The actual public right of way is going to the bridge and going on that way. That's actual right of way. This plan is north and closer to the rugby club. No, I've shown you on that.
That's another.
Yeah.
But it is still, it has been, that route has been used for 30 years old, and we're working on getting that, the right away as it's been done, but it's currently owned, and they know that, so nobody's come to the and hold them owns it, and so I'll go back and make sure that they're aware.
Okay, and on the final point being in here that our application for funding from GWR Communities Fund, Great Western Railway, and yet that's what it says. Our application for funding from GWR Communities Fund to continue development of this scheme was unsuccessful, but we will continue to pursue other sources of funding. But GWR is Great Western Railway, and yet within the Cardiff Capital Region report, January, it talked about active travel and increasing opportunities for active travel. Why wouldn't the group, from a county council perspective, be asking TFW, Transport for Wales, and within the Cardiff Capital Region document?
Yeah. They did, I think they, fixed them.
So this is an error.
I'll go back, both those things, I'll go back to them.
Yeah, but we have used, has used money from Cardiff Capital Region. Notoriously, that creates some problems when you do so. Notoriously, the huge unused car park at Seven Junction was funded by Cardiff Capital Region.
Oh, was it?
On the understanding that there would be a footbridge built by Transport for, well, presumably built by Transport for Wales, although they spent 2 years haggling over who's going to build it. So that was Cardiff Capital Region. Yeah, GWR Community Fund is basically a charity set up by the GWR that gives money for projects in areas where, well, basically where there are railway communities, transport residents. Yeah, but it's a bidding process with a very limited amount of funds. And I really didn't realise that it was a sort of thing that a local authority could bid for. But it's not that huge a fund. I didn't think they gave millions, which is what
would be needed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're quite right. It's kind of Capital Region or Transport for Wales would be the preferred funders on that, I guess.
Is there anything you want to add, Nicola?
Just that's what they told us about that day, that's how.
Yeah.
Have you read the report, the Cardiff Capital Region report? Have you read it?
Hmm.
Have you read the Cardiff Capital Region report that was sent out by the clerk?
Okay, anything else, John?
No, I'm just advocating more active travel monies for Caldicot and connectivity between the Sevenside area. We should be pushing for all this for that. Yeah.
Really.
Okay, councillors, thank you. How did we go to Stephen? That's sad story because you've been waiting ages on you. Is everyone okay if we take item 8 now, please?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Am I? So, Steve, you have to help me.
No problem, thank you all for having me. Steve Ryan, back towards you, okay, but, you know, try and get the voice so everyone can hear. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks for having me once again. I'm Steve Hayward and the sergeant working in Caldicot, covering Monmouthshire South. Mike Martin, one of my team, has sent out the report. Essentially, the highlights for me for this month really is that crime has gone down slightly. There were 23 crimes reported for the month in the area that we all care about. We're particularly pleased that thefts and shoplifting is going down. It's a national problem, but we've been working with the shops on the town and through their work in conjunction with us as well, that has gone down. So I'm hoping that will continue to do so. The 23 crimes recorded, 3 were pertinent to one particular incident, which essentially was a criminal damage, a public order offence, and a violence without injury offence. So that I hope it gives some confidence that there were 3 connected to one incident, some individuals that dealt with 3 offences. I know it's a continuing issue, parking in the zigzags across of the coast. A number of the local community continue to come up to me. Some of you who got rapport with you continue to raise that. And that is something that I continue to
to try and police accordingly. There was only one fixed penalty issue in the last month for that. But that is something that we continue to try and police as and when we can. Antisocial behaviour, focus for my team the last month has been on intervention. So we try to deal with that in terms of going into local schools with other agencies and picking on the very young ones, years 4, 5, 6, which in my day was last year the juniors. I can't remember anyway. They're not in comp yet, but they were very receptive and very happy to take on board what we were saying. We've also gone into the comprehensive schools. I must say, Caldicot Town is improving. We're very impressed with the work they're doing there. We've got Operation SCEP coming up, which is Life Crime Initiative. And I was looking to arrange for us to go to the schools, but in the last month, for Easter, the head teacher there had already arranged for people to go in and give inputs about life crime and the dangers of that, not from a police perspective, but they touched on it. So I feel that's really positive, and we continue to work with that. 2 warrants were done in Caldicot in the last 28 days. One was a drug warrant where there was evidence of possession and intent to supply. So 3 persons have been arrested for that. They're currently on bail conditions. Our inquiry is ongoing to establish exactly what drugs we're talking about, etc. there. The safeguards are in place, and there's nothing to worry about in terms of that. There was an XL bully incident in our town where member of the public was bitten. We attended positive action there, and yeah, an individual was being arrested and bailed for that, and the dog has been destroyed. So that safeguards are in place with that as well. The zone damage. Individuals and young people have been identified for that, so they've been issued with strike letters. So essentially,
Was that Stephen at the zone?
at the zone, there's some damage caused to the zone. There are inquiries and CCTV, which was great in terms of identifying people. Some children been issued with first strike letters. It's the traffic light system, so they have had that first warning. One had the second strike letter because they hadn't learned from the last time, and they've been into to see me on that. And then the third option then would be intervention with other agencies as well. Thankfully, nobody's hit the third strike letter. So yeah, got a snapshot of what the crimes were that actually recorded. Again, sometimes it's a little bit concerning, isn't it, when you see violence with injury, violence without injury, violence with injury. We aren't talking anything serious in terms of grievous bodily harm. They are, unfortunately, injuries where cause bleeding and as opposed to just common assaults and pushing and things like that. Violence without injury, 2 of those were common assaults. So I'm satisfied. There's nothing for us to be concerned about there. Ayla, one of my community support officers, was here last month, and she took some notes for me just for concerns raised by you all here and members of the public. Castro continues to get raised as an area of concern for ASB. I'll be honest with you, it's part of our control plan. I patrolled it Easter weekend, and yes, we see someone in uniform. I have found all the children there very engaging. One of the team was out on patrol last night and knocked on a few doors there. They weren't actually doing anything wrong, the kids. They were they're congregating, which I guess can cause concern. It is a park as well, but that's something I won't lose sight of, and any issues that sort of escalating that social behavioural crime. I'm doing my best to be taking positive action, nipping them in the bud. Bikes on the town, yes, it is a problem. A slight different take on that. We do have young people later on in the evening who are bombing around, causing people to move out the way, and be taking a couple of bikes off of those individuals and have them down in front of their parents. They're all young people on bikes were quite little as well. So I've asked Mike Martin to do some work with yourselves, because there's one sign at the top of the town,
Yeah.
and one sign at the
Yeah.
bottom. Yeah, so just kind of no bikes allowed, and find that quite difficult to sort of police, and for want of a better word, we're not there at times, but that's something that we are aware of. I want to put some bikes, don't get me wrong. They're not clean on the bike, but it's just that social behaviour aspect, really. And so we spoke about in the, I contacted you about that incident with Aldi. I hope it helped get an answer for you there. I'm not sure if you can give your resident my details. Happy to have a conversation with them. Got plans in place for Leaders Day, always notorious. So we know when those dates are. So I've got a team, a plan in place on that.
Will there be somebody at the Castle Grounds on that day?
Yeah, we'll have a few of us out and about.
We can have a specific request from the resident about that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's,
One question, so I haven't got, we are aware of it, we've already changed the shifts. So it's Friday, plans in place,
10th of July.
are you sure?
That's the prom. Oh, that's the prom.
Yeah,
10th of
this is
July is the
year
prom.
11. Yeah, this is,
10th of July's prom, yeah.
yeah, this is just the youngsters last day of school.
Yeah.
For exams and stuff, which sometimes has caused issues. Plan in place for that. Anything else to tell you? We're planning for 999 Day. And yeah, question I had then was any plans for the 8th and anything that you were getting from us as an entity.
Yeah, I think we've passed the course, I think. But as far as the is concerned, we do have a service plan that we keep on a table a bit on for the PED. Yeah, because just trying to get such details of time.
Yeah. All right, well, just take those 11 o'clock on the 8th at the cross. Yeah, I'll be giving more details
Yeah.
to the meeting later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Jim, you had a
Yeah,
question?
thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I'm down the town pretty, usually early in the mornings to get my paper and the.
Yes.
And I see too many cars driving through, to be honest with you. So, but the bit I'm coming to is we got, cameras. And I'm just wondering, you know, if I would imagine they can be identified, the number plates from the cameras. And, you know, there's too many of them, and sometimes it's a motorbike as well.
Okay. So you saying we're going through the town?
Yeah.
Vehicles
From
as well.
one end and stop at the newspaper shop and go to the other end.
Okay, but Jill next, I think. Jill?
Thank you, Mr. Goodham. Yeah, reported about bikes. Yeah, because that's been
Absolutely.
So part of our placemaking, we calculated out this, since I mean, it, that we asked for some sort of barriers or something to push it, hopefully, or look at lowering those signs so they actually, not actually they can see them. We also have signs that the 2 alleyways as well.
Yeah.
Because, as you say, it's only, you won't see them.
No.
Is it allowed to use them? Just wonder if there's been any progress on that piece.
What's on every speaking list, you know, we haven't met against it, so we
A little bit of that, I think that was a quick hit when it's been followed up,
not fixed it.
is it not?
Not decided.
Just like it's signed down. No,
Okay, and there's a question from, I think, Rachel next. Rachel John.
Sergeant, is your cut in budget affected numbers of officers in Caldicot?
The honest answer, yes.
Mm.
So when I first came to Caldicot, they had 3 PCs and now down to 2. Somebody's applied for another constable role, and they passed the interview and the process. So I'm just waiting for them to be released. And the bigger problem has been their community support officers.
Yeah.
So when I first landed, I had 8. At the moment, I've got 3, but that's only since the last meeting there were Kay was here.
Yeah.
She jumped kind of PC, so she's in training then, as has another one of my team, Luca Elliott. So I've got 2 CSOs in training now to replace them. They start next week, so I'll be up to 5, and someone's transferring in a couple of weeks' time, so we'll be up to 6. I am down on strength. That's about I continue to have to try and get more numbers.
Okay.
John, please.
2 questions. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Picking up on Councillor Higginson's point of view, I was in the village late one evening to find almost like a mini Arctic that had reversed from the Methodist chapel to the front of Greg's, and it was a Greg's delivery truck.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know whether our town centre surface was ever put down to withstand the weight of the HGV. And yet I thought the service area at the back of that was purposely built for delivery to shops and offices that side.
But they wouldn't have a permit.
I didn't think they had a permit. When I spoke to the driver, as is what I want, he said that, well, they only deliver once a week and normally it's a Saturday evening. There wasn't the fact that they weren't going to go around the other side. They thought it was the de facto to literally reverse that.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's a sizable lorry, a sizable weight. So that was one area you might want to look at. And
What
or
I'll say to that, so you is you're right, and from the back right by the Greg's, where they're supposed to be doing that. So we absolutely, whilst not potentially be smart, I will go to Greg's.
if you
And
could,
remind them and say they're going on the back.
thank you very much indeed. Yeah, thank you. My other point was, again, in the reports, we don't mention drugs. I just wondered what your view on Caldicot, sorry if I've missed it.
No, you're right.
What the drug situation, and I don't mean obviously prescribed.
Now, good question.
Well, many residents say to me, they point out certain individuals who are well known as, whatever the term is, couriers or whatever, and ask me, why don't, if we all know them, why don't the police, and why aren't they doing something about them? And they tell me they go up to Castroggy, deliver to a certain resident up there, and obviously Castroggy is right there where the kids are. I can't tell him anything.
No,
Right. I don't know, but
sorry, so my advice there was that raised its head last June, July. That came to the station with these concerns, and then they told me been going on for a long time. So my initial take, I get people scared or whatever, but there are ways and means. I urge people to report. And there are issues with that around using 101, it's not 999 call, but 101. It's hard sometimes trying to get through the report via social media. And the point being, last year, I suggested that to some residents. In a few weeks, we get reports. We were able to do 2 warrants and drugs seized. So I'm always saying something that will always say to me, I would just ask you to ask your residents to keep reporting it, because it builds up a picture for me.
and via 101.
101.
John, can I just interrupt there? We had a conclusion to report something else, and I used the Facebook when I had a response, and there was officers on the scene with comments.
Okay.
So I think the Facebook thing is obviously.
Facebook as well. I'm quite old as well now. I'm not so good with Facebook. I don't use
So no, these residents are, they look to be daft.
I know. However, please tell them, I know they may not want to come in to see me, but if people are willing to talk to me, come in and talk to me, but, and as long as we get intelligence, it's good grading, we will take positive action.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But some again, actual report, I see that we had workers sort of problems with the road again.
Yes,
I thought, we picked the touch, that it seems to be increasing, for one or two properties, I understand.
yes.
How is that affecting property opposite, which is, support workers, support with the youngsters there?
Yeah.
We're on top of that, because it's.
I know. You know, yeah, it does stand out, doesn't it? We,
What is it?
yeah, it's all an issue. You can advise,
It's around one property, isn't it?
it is, we obviously thinking to protect that.
It's the top end, bottom end, stone,
We'll continue to try and.
I'm concerned that the connection on youngsters who are living opposite, in the care support.
Yeah.
You got to protect them.
Agree with the team.
Thank you. Is there any other questions from those? Thank you ever so much, Steve, for being here.
Good problem, thanks, Adam. One point things Adam there. Thank you, Rich, for everything in terms of last couple of weeks with that issue we've had, and I just want to say, the man lost his life, all the work that Rachel and others have done to support our family, and I thought the tree planting was good occasions. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Email me anyone, any queries, okay? Liverpool champions.
Oh. Not official, but. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Steve. Don't mind that you're Greg until you get salted over.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. We can go back to item 7 then, which was report from the council governor representatives. And we're in report to Rachel.
So from Justo, we're out of local authority monitoring. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously, most of you will be aware that Larry passed away on Friday, the year 6 pupil. That's right, isn't it? It's on the public forum, so yeah.
And then else from the school.
I can't remember. I was.
Sorry, let me just finish with Rachel. They are attending our BE the celebration, yeah. I'm sure you're aware already, but they are going down singing songs.
Okay.
Year 2. Yeah. Respect and useful then. And we're going to have a lot. Yeah. Service council, right, the school. His wishes? No, how would you do it?
I think it would be nice. They're offering a lot of the children a lot of counselling and things. You know.
You
Well, I'd like to think the council would.
would you be happy if I send a letter signed by myself on behalf of the whole council?
Mm-hmm.
Would everyone agree to that?
Yeah.
There it is then.
Year 6. Yeah.
Year 6. Thank you very much. Is there any other governors? John, I think last month you wanted to give a report, but we didn't give you time really because you had a meeting the day before. Is there you want to?
I've Clark sent out from MonCC an initiative about play for Monmouthshire doing free play.
Yep.
I forwarded that on to Duran School, and they were highly appreciative of that because the email from Clark, based from Monmouthshire, was asking if anybody had any ideas to put them forward. So Duran were very appreciative of that. In the previous meeting, I was going to state that I'd mentioned to them if for VE Day, if they wanted You've got a very strong Welsh educational platform there, and the one whole assembly was held in Welsh with a lot of singing and storytelling, etc. And they would be interested in doing something for the E-Day.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's what I wanted to say last
There
time.
hasn't been any communication from the school or anything like that. They've been invited.
Duran School have been invited?
No communication, you know, all the schools are invited, but as far as I'm aware, we've had no response to them.
Oh,
Maybe it's something you could,
I can follow
I
up.
mean, bearing in mind it's next Thursday, but if you could make a inquiry,
Well, it wouldn't take a long to do
would you let Peter know then?
Pardon? Yeah,
Especially at the end, you know,
yeah. Did you speak to Hannah Kilburn? Did you?
Well,
Do you know who?
no, we messaged, we sent them invitations,
They were all
they haven't gone back
spent
to them.
Okay.
So, I haven't talked to anybody, they haven't come back to
Yeah.
them. Speak to it, yeah. we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Anything else, John, from Duran?
No.
Okay, sorry, sorry. Okay, anything for us? Right, anything for us, Gordon? Well,
On the Welsh tour.
That's why I've been responding, I understand. No, generally, if anything to reports from governors. That's good. Yeah, that's good, I think, of bringing the whole school.
Just have
You've got something on this?
leaving a message to board around. We might now issue, someone tell you that they've got the Wales Energy Agency have given 10k funds to all the schools to do environmental projects that can get a response from Duran. So I keep close the number of times that message. That's it.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you. Never mind then, give those apologies next Thursday, can't be there. Or for the, sort of, can we note that, please, so penciling some kind of 10 next Thursday, please? But not then, I'm 10, we're taking that. Schedule of things.
Councillor, I finally
That's the night, so
finished appendix this evening, so my apologies. There is a hard copy for you to take away with you. The Chair of Finance and the Mayor and Deputy Mayor have had a number of conversations with me, and they are very aware of my reasons for, at this point in time, not being able to complete the end of the year. There is a lot of checking that is going on in order to make sure that we are correct with what we produce. What I can say is, and Lucy, sorry, can you scroll down a little bit for me, please? That on the 30th, the last day of the month, whatever it was, we had in the main bank £25,486 and 82p. The savings account had 0 in it. The Mayor's charity account had 1,439.04, and the CCLA savings account has 416,630.26. As you know, a great deal of that money is earmarked reserves for specific projects as covered on the budget, but also there's a sizable amount that needs to be kept over for our 6 months reserve, which I've covered in the past. As of about 4 o'clock this afternoon, we still hadn't received the precept, which would have been the first half of the payment. I'm hopeful that we will get it at mid-stroke of midnight tonight, but I will. Councillor Bond, can you update me, please? Do you know when it's? Oh, you don't. I thought you were going to say it's not going to be 10. I was hoping you were going to give me some good news. No, all right. But at the moment, we are in a healthy position. We can obviously, with our 6 months reserve amount there, we can keep going. I'm just asking you to note the report at this point in time. You could put forward an alternative suggestion if you want, but I'm not quite sure what you're going to propose.
haven't certainly looked at the report, is there any question?
No. There's the community garden is Yeah, it's a slightly different scenario where that's concerned. Lucy and I have actually been working on it, and I will say Lucy has stepped up and produced some really good stuff. She's done some really good digging around for bits and pieces, so I hope she don't go too red.
There's
But-
one intended there.
But if you need to source a garden shed, benches, planters, here's your lady. She's been working really hard on that side of things. And has been looking at that.
And we do appreciate it. Lucy.
Yeah, I can't promise, but I would like to hope so. Yeah. We got until June,
No, May.
May.
There was £7,000 needed to be spent by the end of April. Then you needed to apply for the other 21 to be spent by the end of May. The
No,
grant.
we got that. There is right. Okay, because I don't want to go into too much
Yeah.
detail. Lucy and I have discussed this afternoon. It's not part of the agenda, but we have discussed this afternoon. I also had a meeting, Teams meeting recently. We have until the end of June to log on the website what we've spent, but we have got time constraints, yes, but we are aware of them, and I have spoken with them.
So, any other questions about the finance?
Could I ask?
John?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Do we have a number for what, excuse me, debtors and creditors are within the current situation?
So we're waiting for a, what we call, I'm asking you to note what's their currently.
But we don't,
Right, Rich?
well, we are owed, obviously, a gentleman behind us quite a significant amount of money.
I'm not prepared to go into
Can't do that.
reasons
Can't do
at
that.
this
I
point in
don't-
time,
I
councillor.
wasn't
So-
asking you to do that. I was asking
There would,
if you could tell me what the creditors and debtors were.
at this point in time,
Sorry.
no.
We're asking you to read the report, you can see those figures.
Not if we got £500,000 in debt, I can't agree to that, can I?
Councillor, I can assure you, you haven't got £500,000. And I'm going to make a public comment here. I'd like you to stop poking at me.
What's that?
You have been making pointed comments all the way through.
We are trying,
And stop smirking.
John, we are trying very, very hard to be very subtle about what we are telling you. And I would appreciate it if you could see the figures in front of you. All we're asking you to do is note those figures. Wyndham, did you have a?
Well, that's the very point that I'd like to, Mr. Brown. Very, very disappointing. Show confidence of what's taking place and the way that been undertaken by the staff. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, Wyndham.
So it's 3 councillors who have taken repeated pokes.
But man, did you want to, would you, that'd be great. Okay, so I'm asking, is there anyone that's gonna propose that, would you note those figures then? We all noted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Very dark in here. Just switch the lights on. Tony, would you mind switching the lights on? Please? Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Yeah, would you mind just flicking the switches?
Actually, there's only spare glasses, not spectacles. Empty ones. I'll get a drink. Thank you.
Number 11 is the Christmas light present. Are they actually Christmas present? Are they actually Christmas presentation?
Yes, I'm not computer.
We're going to come back to the Christmas lights presentation, if that's okay. Number 12 then is the regional transport plan.
Regarding the Christmas lights.
Are we going to come back to the lights?
Right.
If we
And
take
for
number
the
12,
regional
then.
transport plan as well,
Regional transport plan, yeah.
later, you come back with you.
No, we're going to do that one now.
All right, okay.
You take 10th of May, was it the 10th of May? we're going to do it May? So they, have my.
Yes, it's on this document 19. So, there's a resolution at the top of there. Members are asked to resolve that a statement be submitted by a working group of members on behalf of the town council, detailing their thoughts and concerns with the plan.
On the regional transport plan, and then
You'd like to resolve that we do have a working group? Yes, Jim?
sorry?
You're resolving that we have a working group?
Yeah, yeah. I second that. Yeah, I'd like to nominate, Councillor Rob Rob Wiltshire.
So Wiltshire,
Should be, yes, sorry.
that's Bob Sylvia, yeah,
Bob should be, yes, I tried that.
that's fine.
Councillor Mayo,
Mayo.
Councillor Eason, Councillor Gay and Rowan.
Mhm.
The mayor and deputy as well.
You can, Jill, but we want a working group, so we don't want the whole of council, it needs to be a
No,
working
but
group,
normally you
okay?
have 7, don't you?
Not always, but
The
seven
mayor,
people allowed, yeah.
deputy, again, yeah, Councillor Chair, Councillor Mayo, Councillor Eason, and Councillor Rowan.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you did, Chair. We haven't, it hasn't been set up yet, but you will need a meeting, obviously. This is a job we finish, okay? This is purely to make,
In the nominations I'm making.
thank you very much. This is purely to feed onto, as it says, the working group of members on behalf of town council, detail their thoughts, concerns with the plan. That has to be submitted by the 19th of May, so you will need to meet as a group well in advance of that.
It should be done. It should be started one day next week.
Ideally, yeah. Jill, did you
I
want to
just
comment?
think we'd like to give some very, like, lots of people, like, people, 2, 4, 5.
You'd like to be included?
I don't,
Unfortunately,
don't understand it.
we've been chasing, so,
You'd like to be included?
yes, please.
Rob?
Do you have any
You want
members?
the-
Because I think John would like to see it coming include John. Would you like to be included?
Well, I went through the whole report. I would like to be involved in it on the basis of active travel and,
You'd like to be involved in the working group?
yes, please.
Okay, so I've now got, let me just check, I've got Bob Sylvia, Anthony Mayo, Tony Eason, Ian Rowan, not Rob, I said Rob,
No.
uh, John Woodfield, and Neil Bond.
Frank, and you.
No, we're not being asked to do that.
We did.
Oh, yeah, no, second.
He said,
Councillor Higgins did
We
propose.
haven't been asked to do that. You can, if you want the mayor and the deputy on it.
But Councillor Higgins did say yourself, and the
Are
deputy.
you including the mayor and the deputy, are you?
Yeah, that's for the regional.
Okay, you gonna be fine?
If I think the smaller the groups are at the moment, if we're getting into this big meetings again, instead of having a working party, we know that, we'll say we want a group of people here. But are we gonna trust people to sit down and go through reports and do something about it? Instead of going to have big meetings all the time. That's what we're doing. Everybody wants to be part of it.
The mayor and the deputy won't necessarily share that with you, obviously, it'll be voted on at the first meeting. So it won't be a mayor or deputy having to chair it.
Can I ask, who was read through, around this table, who was read through this whole report?
some of it.
All of it.
Not all of it.
So would that therefore then be a working group that's already read through it, or?
Well, it'll be by the time you meet.
Sorry?
It would be by the time you meet. Yeah? Agreement then?
Yeah.
There was a resolution then to do that from Jim, was it a second, please? I think Bob seconded. Is that agreed by council?
Working,
Frank?
yeah.
Thank you very much.
That was for the regional transport. Christmas lights presentation, mayor, deputy, myself, Richard Brumbach, Councillor Shelby, Councillor Conniff, Councillor Cochran.
What are you reading? I'm sorry, Jim. What are you reading out at the moment, Jim? Jim?
Sorry?
Jim?
Yeah, I know, I just.
Right, just councillors, as we are, we just done item 12, which is the regional transport, yeah? Okay, now we're on to item 13, yeah? Yeah, before we start item 13, I'd like Mark to speak for a moment.
Councillors, I'd just like to apologise to the members, especially to Councillor Woodfield. You are all aware what the current situation is in this office, and therefore I would like to say a little bit of appreciation if possible, but I shouldn't react.
Thank you for that, Mark.
Yeah.
Mrs. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to item 13 now, then, which is the Caldicot Events Committee application.
Yeah, room 11,
There is a, I just read the resolution.
Oh, sorry,
That's fine. So the resolution there is that the Caldicot Events Committee be provided with £11,550 in accordance with the service level agreement to deliver on behalf of the town council 2 major events. The SLA will also include the possibility that other events may be organised If agreed, I vote aye. That's the resolution. Is there any questions before we go?
Yeah.
Tony?
So, problem with SLA is one thing, but we generally include the fireworks as well.
That's been a separate issue all along. So it's been a separate,
in past years, we voted in through.
oh, it's been a separate application every year.
Yeah, I know that, but it's the same body, haven't they done both the same?
Yes, would you mind?
They've spoken to me about it. If I can just quickly say, I had a meeting on Friday, Pauline and Prince of Grumbach, which I suspect is the reason she's fled the room. Also that I met on, was it Monday or Tuesday? I've lost date. Monday, wasn't it? Sorry? Tuesday? It might have been, I don't know. But I met with Alice and with Rachel to discuss other things to do with this. You'll see that in the report, what I've talked about is there is the potential in the SLA for the council and the events committee to do other events, but they cannot take place without it being brought to the council as a separate thing. So it would allow the opportunity for the fireworks then to come back to the council at that point in time.
Yeah, but we can't really afford to, let's say, make sure that we get that in place. That's why I'm getting that really. This is weird, the lights be on.
Okay, any other questions before we look at the resolution then?
So as long as we know, I know that.
Okay, so we'll look at the resolution. Anybody like to move the resolution for that then?
I'll move.
Thank you, Peter. Was there a seconder?
Yeah, go on.
Thank you, Carol. Sorry. Okay, and in our show of hands, please.
Also,
You have to look that Rachel wasn't in the room for that box, easy. Also, not telling you because you know that much.
what's it?
Yeah. Can I just take the opportunity, Rachel's actually, wait till. Yeah. Oh yeah, can you just have to come back in, please? Or ask if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll come back to you. Right.
Go back to item number 11, which was the lights
Oh, that's all
presentation, okay?
Okay, well, just. Body match.
Sure, this will be,
I'm wondering if I'm gonna. This is fine. Bear with us. The actual presentation is quite a big one.
like, number 11, which was like presentation, we just gone back to that.
Yeah. This came out of the discussions before Christmas, after Christmas, and trying to get some movement, because actually, in fairness to Councillor, and what you said just now is actually very true. Christmas is going to be upon us soon, but more importantly, the lights providers need to know early doors. Now, this is just one particular quote. It's one presentation that's being looked at, but in summary, what they've done, they've looked at the budget that we have declared in our annual budget, and you'll see that they are actually talking about a light period from the end of October roughly through January 2029. In other words, they're talking a 3-year, 4-year style contract. So they're looking at providing all of the services. There are a couple of different options, and you'll see some examples of this. They are talking about braids. They then talk about no braids, but some of the freestanding, or not freestanding, so they can be moved around by members of the public, but round level presentations as well. So if I go through with it, this is just a few bits about Blashare themselves. They are quite happy mid-contract if they have the ability to swap some things over. If we think sort of after the first it didn't work, and they've got something that they can swap over, that might be possible. They actually work with Mega, and they do the Mega lights, so that's quite good. They've got quite a sizable coverage that will cover the town within the budget. So hopefully, if this is the sort of thing, and I say the sort of thing quite deliberately, that you will be looking at. a lot of their displays are actually created using recycled plastics. And a great deal of it is environmental. Some of the actual things they present, they actually tell you the number of recycled bottles, for example, that have been used to create the items. So this is one way of looking at it. They're looking at the style of both of the options, lamp column motifs. They're LED, so quite low power. Not good. They're all done using this thing called recycled print, which basically is if you can imagine a toothpaste of plastic that's all recycled being squeezed out, that's how it actually works. And it goes from there. They can do it as warm and pure light, so they complement each other. And then there are two LED flashing braids for each of them. They're in the bottom right-hand corner. They're also looking at things like this, which are walkthroughs with Christmas trees instead of the traditional style Christmas tree. So you've got something like that, and also some of the I can't, my French is useless. Sapin étoile. So again, very modern, very good at drawing people in. Young people love that idea of the walkthrough. And they've used the word romantic, so maybe for the old romantics amongst us, they'll like that as well.
The selfie moment.
Selfie moment, yeah, okay. So, braids between lighting columns, okay, LED again, technology, pure white. And then option B is do away with some of the braids, but have them between lighting columns. And also do things like the Daddy Bear and an astral arch, something of that nature. So again, using these things. This is the reside print. I'm just going to spin through. So looking at this one, this is what they were talking about using on Newport Road near the co-op. Using Oakley Way, this one, yeah. But they would be using the same ones up at the co-op. Sorry, that was my mispronunciation. So you'd have something like this. You would have the more modern style Christmas tree sitting in the bottom, and it would actually work from that way around. Then down at Caldicot Cross, this is option A. In place of the Christmas tree, you put in one of the trees. With then the motifs coming off either side of the columns and working on those. Option B is to put in that type of design down at the cross with the bear then at the other end. And then if you look further down, you'll see that the walk-through Christmas tree now is moved to the middle. But again, both of those are the selfie moments. They are the more interactive style displays that people are looking towards. Out of this, and it's not necessarily directly relevant, were some seasonal products that came up, and I've showed this to some councillors already. And the reason for that is that this is a product that can be put in place in the town centre all year round. It's a bit of bench seating. There are phone recharging points on this. There then are two types of heads, one for the summer, one for the winter. And it is something which I've been trying to convince people at MCC could be a possible thing that could go in to a quick win. But at the moment, that's not finding favour. But again, it's sorry.
Solar powered as well.
There is solar power in there, I believe. But I actually think that where this is concerned, it also runs off mains. So because during the winter, for obvious reasons, if you've got a good old rainstorm going on, it ain't going to charge. It is not going to charge up batteries very long. Also, for a full year round thing, is and this is only up there as something illustrative. It's a recycling point, recycling bottles. And all it has at the back is literally a standard bin that you bring in and out, unload in the normal way, then it gets pushed back in. So it is something that is capable of being done fairly easily. And then the other option that's sitting there, yeah. Could earn from it. We could earn from it.
No, it's not gonna fit with the option.
Oh, but I like an earner. This is something that is in their catalogue, and it just caught my eye. If you look at it, it's a town logo.
Yeah.
And they've drafted this up. And I took a phone call because originally the Blacheret map was going to be online this evening, but something come up with his family, so he couldn't make it. So his apologies for that. And what he's saying is that postcard, they have given a price to us for it, but that is flexible. There is a flexible price on that because he's just priced another one up for somebody else that was more complex, and it turned out even cheaper. So this is just at the moment in the draft stage. Yeah, and if you look, you can see it can go a lot along there. And again, this is just for indicative purposes. You can see two of the recharge lighting stations in the summer, the Swan and the postcard. That's not to say that's where it would actually go. That would be a possible option. So the bad news. Okay, right. 4-year hire is essentially 24,500 across, okay, each of the 4 years. At the end of which, any of the parades that were there, we would get to keep. We wouldn't get the bigger items, but we would get to keep these. That includes all of the storage, project management, switch on team. They reckon it would take about 5 or 6 people for the switch on team to get them in place. There would be the removal, installation, and the hire. It would also then enable some goods to be swapped in and out. That's for option A. Option B then is the other way around, and it's a little bit cheaper. So you can see that. The interesting one for me was the summer purchases, because I have to say the postcard, I thought they were going to be quite pricey. Okay, £6,500 is a lot of money, but it's an all-year project. It's there, it's multi-year. And then the recycling centre is £5,000. It's there. These are just there for ideas. It's to start this thinking process going more than anything else, because we need to be thinking about this now, and go from there. And that's just the cost effectiveness. Okay, total wattage for option B, excluding summer bits, would be £4.30 per day for 9.5 hours of use. And that's using the average rate at the moment. Okay, they have put some bits in on sustainability. What I will do, I've got a way where I can send this out to you so that you can have a longer look at it, of course, and it will come towards your communities and activities meeting for it to be brought to that. Yeah, so it can come to that, but it would allow you to at least see it.
Madam Mayor, thanks for the presentation. I think if we get a number of members there to go through that and make a decision as to what we think is best for Caldicot, I'm prepared to make the following nominations, if I may, as a working group of committee to deal with it. And it's a mayor and deputy, myself as well, Councillor Rachel Brummer, Councillor Bob Shalia, Councillor Conniff, Councillor Cochrane.
Anything with nominations? And before we carry on with that one, John.
I'll pick up on Councillor Higgins' point last. Couple of questions to Clark. In the presentation, and given sadly there's a bit of a notoriety for damage in our community, did they offer a view in relation to either their own insurance, our insurance, replacement when damaged? That's one question. Second part of the question is, you mentioned Newport Road and Oakley Way. So in terms of that cost, is it just the West End area, what we class as the village here, and Oakley Way, just those three areas? There's no expansion on that.
Those are the traditional ones they took, yeah. So to take that point first, because that's the easier one.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? I think the council's insurance, you're looking there at quite a sizable initial payment that we would have to pay in. The truth of the matter is, when we had the lights damaged, as you know, on the Christmas tree, we had to stump up the cost for that ourselves as a council, and that was this year. It's an unknown quantity, councillor, to be totally honest. They won't insure, I don't think, because it's an unknown quantity. And I think our own insurers probably would give you the same answer.
Right. Well, because they must have got a lot of experience in terms of where they went in other areas, so they would have know that they're not unique out with the community with damage.
And we did discuss the fact that some of those installations, like the walk through trees and things, are obviously floor based, so they are lead platinum design to make it difficult for them to be damaged.
Yeah, okay. And my final point in relation to Councillor Higginson was, and as Clark has just intimated, I thought this was coming under the working group that's already been designated as celebration and anniversary events from our last meeting.
It can be.
Thought it was.
But it's something that needs concentrated on now in order to get that sorted before this instance. We've got installed this year.
There's a meeting on the 21st. Sorry.
But traditionally, we've been, I would tell you for the last 7 years at least, we always leave it too late to look at next year's decorations. And then we get to September and we go, oh, well, we've got to have what we had last year. But the class we worked on this since January. The hope was we'd have a small working group that could concentrate on this and bring it back to your full council quickly.
But there was a meeting planned for the 29th of May.
Can I come in now? As I understand it, the committee is not celebrating the commemoration of the
Sorry.
anniversary. It's mainly about Remembrance Day. We had a couple of special anniversaries this year, of course, the Day,
Okay.
and that's a different thing from Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And I think the expertise is different because we're members of the public and wider community who are particularly interested in Remembrance Day, but might not be interested in Christmas lights, but won't want to be involved in detailed planning.
We do have a lot of agents coming to us for the benefit, but it wouldn't.
Yeah.
The suggestion, I think, sorry, we did. Anthony?
Yeah, just a few words. I always put doubt in people's minds, I think, really. It's very glamorous, isn't it? Yeah, really, and it's an awful lot of money. And I guess this is for the Christmas period. The Christmas period is a Christian celebration, and maybe there are people today that thinks religion is a load of medieval hokum. But don't forget, this is a multicultural society in which we live. You must be prepared to celebrate Diwali, Eid, etc., etc., etc. So, you know, we can't think of such an extravagance just purely for the Christian faith. It's got to be multicultural. That's the end of it.
Just thinking the last thing, and actually picking up on something actually Jonathan said that was about the damage and everything. Unfortunately, for once, we are too early. There is a new product that they're introducing, but like all new products, it's expensive. And it involves a new process where you've literally almost got to get a set of wire cutters to cut the actual displays that don't break by bending in half. By the time, if you were to go for something over a 4-year period, then they would have had some of these new stuff out. We might be able to link into it. But I think the new stuff, yes. The existing stuff is more likely to be damaged. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say, particularly like the tree.
Walk
How
through
much,
walk through it.
which, whether it's walked through or not, just like the tree well. The tree.
Well, what you'll notice is there's not a fence in the middle, which is good, that's previous years. And also, yeah, it's an interactive to walk through. And also, there's been questions about using trees that requested them for trees effectively, burnt trees. So that takes that.
So I just noticed in the graphic, and again, if this was discussed with you, as I recall, there are issues in relation to brackets on buildings. So they purposely haven't
No, they've
designed
got,
it like that. They put it from sort of lamppost to lamppost.
yeah,
So is that a no-no going forward, do we think,
it's a massive cost.
to bracket?
Yeah, because we would be required to put that in my right, we would ask to purchase and fit those.
There's a couple of things with the brackets. The brackets, because of the way they've done the building, they're looking for stainless steel brackets to go up of a certain size and dimension.
Yeah.
They are looking to make sure they've been installed correctly. The price that we were getting was well over £1,000 to do that, because they also wanted the landlord or the owners of the building, they wanted a surveyor to do it, and he was going to charge £750 for the day's work. That was one of the reasons for steering it clear.
Yeah.
This what we've said to them is we want what we can reuse without any aggravation issue. So if one of those brackets fails and we have to approach the landlords again, we're trying to take that in. So by putting the spike between the posts.
Yeah.
Just like
Did they also discuss, given what Park just mentioned in relation to the evolution of the equipment? So for 4 years, are there break clauses within that period whereby we could review the new product?
Quite possibly, yes.
Okay. We would ask for a break clause.
I think it would, rather than a break clause, it's, I think, use the right phrase, a review clause. But and that was why they were saying killed it. It's why I said about being able to swap stuff in and swap stuff out.
Yeah.
So it might well be, there might be a cost implication, there might not, I don't know.
so that if you over those 4 years you want the same motif, then you have an option to change motif.
One thing I think about this, the design, sends a good message to the people of Caldicot. Says that we think in modern terms of putting on a good display that people will enjoy, and it will attract people to come into the village to see it. You know, and I think it's a good idea for us to explore all avenues and all designs and decide to do it. And as you said, Madam Mayor, we have to make a decision fairly quickly in order for the thing to be put into motion, because we glance away and Christmas is on our shoulders.
I love it. I think it's very innovative. I think it's a great change, great idea. And I think people will love it, but I think we've got to be very realistic. I could imagine if we had a lovely spawn on the floor or a lovely walk through a Christmas tree, I think it would be damaged. It's very sad to say. I'm pretty sure it would be damaged. And I think we should, my preference would be to look at things that were safe and away from people that couldn't be damaged, because it's a huge investment. And I just wondered if it's possible to, I mean, the last slide that was up on the screen, the lovely
There.
in of a bird, which would be more difficult to attack. Because I would love to think they could be attacked, but I'm sure they will be. And it's very expensive.
I know you put central uses a similar probably all seen it, walk through and everything, and they're not damaged. It's not damaged when you put
Right.
Well, hopefully then, yeah, but I'm just
But I don't
thinking,
know that for certain. We never.
could we review it after,
Yeah.
you know, after a trial period?
Jim, sorry, they never Jim.
Yes, in relation to finding a provider for these equipment we talk about, Krista, I'd like to nominate the committee you can make this decision for the honor. So I nominate the mayor, the deputy, Councillor Rachel Gummer, Councillor Sylvia, Councillor Connick, Councillor Cochrane, and myself.
I'm just gonna let him speak and then we'll take a. Yeah,
Who's on the same wavelength, it's,
you consider it that,
yeah. I can just see them wanting and loving more people actually.
yeah, the concern is
I think
that.
it's higher up,
99% people will use it properly.
yes.
Yeah,
It don't take 1%.
Yeah.
I will ask them
Just
after.
do it.
I've got John next and then you've got.
I was gonna say maybe just a normal tree. Rather than
You mean
rather
the
than a
green?
walk through.
No,
No, not a.
the homes. Homes.
A light
Stuff
tree,
the
a
wall.
cone, but without the encouraging people to walk through.
Anything on ground would be fine.
I can see a potential for earning a couple of bob on this by having advertising borders, not very high. But this is in Caldicot, and advertise, and have that around as part of the protection which would possibly prevent some of the concerns.
So we could discuss it, the working group, whether.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've got, so, at the moment I've got, Jim's suggested, was it 5 names?
I made a
Do I have
regarding Christmas
a second flower?
flyer.
Okay.
I made nomination.
Yes.
For members to meet the supplier to discuss the needs.
Yes.
That we.
We've got a second for that. So,
Can I say, I've done it once, I can do it again, and then
we'll call the
I
names
made,
first.
as the mayor, the deputy, councillor Richard Gumrock, councillor Bob Sylvia, councillor Conniff, councillor Cochrane, and myself.
Those councillors in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And either,
Rachel,
Yeah, sorry,
Kathy,
yeah.
Carol, you would be, so what else was
just
it?
ask anybody else interested.
I made the nomination.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. We've had a second of that. So can I have a show of hands, please? Yep. All of you.
Great.
Anthony,
No, I did want to make a comment.
you.
Admittedly, you've taken a vote on it now, so I suppose to allow to think it's dead. But what is the cost going to be over the period of that we're envisaging?
It's within every, it's, and just try to work within every.
So we're leasing the equipment over a period of how many years?
4.
4 years. And at the end of the 4th year, we will have paid how much? £100,000. That's a quarter of what we've got in the bank over a period of 4 years. And what are we going to be left with it? What are we going to be left with after the 4 years?
Some very happy people. Yeah.
Okay, but there's some very poor people in Caldicot as well, and we're spending their money. We just have to. I know you know, Maxine. We all do. We all know. We all know.
We still
Okay.
own half the lights this time. Normally we pay for a contract and we don't own them.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying. It's an awful lot.
Okay, so we'll have Valentine's Day, but so we're going to go to item, right? We're going to go to item 15, purely because the equipment setup and Councillor Mayo is going to give us a presentation, please. Is that okay, Anthony?
Yeah, fine. If you've got the.
If you don't mind, we can take that item next. Yep. Everyone happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So we'll come back to, coming back to that, sorry, I'm
Questions
just
on?
asking that you do item 15 next. Because we've got the equipment ready set up.
Oh, when we're ready. Well, I'll move because I can, if I go towards the middle, it'll be easy for my voice to carry really, because I need better than postman of those myself. First of all, I'd like to say that it's the 21st century UK, We can get voice recognition technology, we can get everything communicated, and we can use artificial intelligence to produce a report in minutes, which no one can argue with, but that's one thing. Finally, I'd like to say that every organisation has a culture. Our culture at the moment, perhaps we need to re-examine the way to go. We all try our best. And for the majority of my working life, I've worked in an industry where there's no blame. Whatever we do, everybody does things for the best possible interest. And we're all here for next to nothing. And there's not one single one of us that won't do our best for the village. Okay? But we just don't get things done. You know, people hear us say, when I first came to the council for 12 months ago, and when we said about the weeds in the planters, there's still weeds in the planters. Now I know, Maxine, that you've told me, and you've worked as hard as you possibly can, and Frank, but it's not getting done. One of the things I'm bringing,
Sorry to interrupt. I would volunteer to do it on my own expense.
okay,
Because I am so ashamed of them, I would actually tidy up with the 10 there, and the microphone, and the one coming in from the logger. I would do it at my own expense.
okay.
I'd be very happy to have that conversation, John, if you wouldn't mind coming and talking to us. That's brilliant.
Right, so we've been here before, Maxine. And Frank was talking about it, and I spoke to Jill, spoken about it, and we almost got there. Okay. And basically, I'm just going to reiterate what we've already said. Okay.
It's fine. There's no new councillors haven't.
Yeah, okay. But I understand, and I'm sure Maxine will support this, is that we got to a point where we almost got it done.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the reason I'm on my feet and speaking about this is because of the kids. Right? I walk my dog through the playing fields, and there are youngsters there, right, that have got nothing to do. There's no focal point, there's no spirit, and there's no place where we can put the kids. And every night we listen to these the police reports, we listen to the CCTV camera reports, and people are saying groups of kids hanging about the village. We've also heard tonight from the policeman about people going through the village on bikes. Okay, perhaps they shouldn't do it. But what we need to do is we need to address the fact that King George V playing field should be a focal point for the village. Okay. It was designed in the 1920s, and I don't know what the history is, but very, very little has changed. Okay? And take my word from it, football is not the only sport. Okay? We can change things if we wish. The week before last, we had the planning people came. They all said they didn't want it. They can change things if they wish. We can change things. So Mark and I have, I've done the PowerPoint. Mark tried to put a bit of better animation on it. But basically, there's a proposal for a multi-use games area on King George V playing field. We all know where it was intended to go, and that's Stonehenge. We're calling it Stonehenge because there's all those builders, boulders around the corners. I think the ATC hut used to be there at one time, didn't it? So we moved on a bit quick. Why a multi-use games area? Mark is going to tell us. Increasing demand for accessible outdoor recreation. The village is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and especially with the new developments we're seeing towards Port Stewart, we want to produce an area where everybody, that we can encourage physical activity across all age groups. And that doesn't just mean the kids, it means the old people as well. If we change the layout, I've noticed that the footpaths, they're all dead straight. Why don't we have them moving around in different areas and putting little things up to make it more interesting for people? It's going to have a knock-on effect because it's going to support mental well-being and social connection. One of the things I'm talking about is maybe looking at the bandstand. Music. If you listen to music, not the drum and bass that we see in the pubs, but real music that makes you want to cry with emotion. 7 Tunnel Brass Band. Are they still going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't we have a summer concert?
We do.
Provides a safe and structured environment for play and sport. If we have our kids in the same areas, we know where they are. Of course, they're going to do all dastardly things because when we was kids, we didn't do. We had the odd snub behind the bike sheds, you know. So let's put a focal point in there somewhere. Now, I'm not asking you for money. I'm asking you to think about it and form not a committee as such, because we have the King George V playing group, subcommittee or whatever they have, but something that we can put together, we can look at the feasibility of it and produce a production. Okay. The next slide, Mark. Benefits to the community. Year-round usability, yeah. All weather services where we can allows constant use. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say that we want something tacky, and I'm not saying it's going to be all astroturf. Inclusive design, adaptable for all ages and abilities. This is going to be for everybody because this is everybody's village. And it's like I said a couple of sentences ago, we live in a multicultural society now. It's not just white Anglo-Saxons that we need to look for. Diverse activities, yep, football's always there. We could put a basketball net up. Tennis, why don't we think about reinstating the tennis courts? Okay, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Youth engagement, once again, we need a safe environment for an unstructured gathering. This is where all the kids are going to go to. At the moment, I think they're going, well, they have gone to the little huts in the cemetery, haven't they? I've heard that they're gathering at the back of Washbournes and places like that. They're going to go somewhere. So let's find a place where they can actually go and we know where they are. Okay. Community pride.
Sorry,
And right.
sorry, I've jumped.
Okay. You jumped the gun. Community pride and shared public spaces. Chepstow, a brilliant example. You go down to by the river in the book in Chepstow, they've got the bandstand there. It's lovely. In a summer's day, you can't get anything better. Excellent. Oh, please. So that's the proposed site. This is what we're calling Stonehenge. That's where the mugger was supposed to be, wasn't it? Yeah. What do you call it, Stonehenge?
I call it.
And it was in the corner there. But what we think that we've come across there is that perhaps there might be some form of angst from the neighbours. They don't like balls bouncing against their walls. So perhaps what an idea might be would be to relocate the children's play area, which is on where the tennis court used to be, to that corner there, because swings and slides don't make an awful lot of noise. Okay. The design to complement the existing open space, not replace it. Now, we did talk about the other day about if you take up a sod, you're going to have to replace a sod. Yeah. Now, there's an awful lot of tarmac there where that shot is taken that we could actually move, so we're not going to have any net negative impact upon the amount of greenery. Minimal disruption during construction. It would be a big construction project and it will cost us a fair bit of money. But it hasn't been done since the 1920s. So we need to change it. It needs to be a place which is 21st century safe for modern people of Caldicot. Careful consideration for the visual impact and noise. That's good. Next one. That's not pictures of my Aunt Mary.
That's one of the interactions that didn't interact properly.
Okay. This is by the side of the children's playfield on the right hand side. You can see the stones that would be the new playing field there. We've got all that space wasted. Yeah. Maybe we could make the footpath in and out and a little bit, something like that to make it more exciting. But perhaps we could put some play equipment or the outside gym equipment along that wall there. Next one.
Before, the question was, is that instances or is it those we weren't sure at the theirs? So
We need to find out.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well,
Well,
that
yeah. Okay. Reinstate the tennis courts. That's a possibility. If you go to Chepstow and you go through Bulwark, the tennis club there, I know it's a private club, but then it's a roaring trade there. It's not, is it? It's a council.
No, it's community.
Okay, but why can't we have something like that? You know what I mean? So what we'd have to do is take up the children's play equipment and move it. Okay, next one, please, Mark. Focal point. Yeah, wouldn't that be lovely? It's a dream. It's a dream. But if you don't have a dream, how can they come true? And it can come true. It just takes the ability to say, yes, we're going to do it. Maybe I'd have 7 tunnel brass band there. Maybe concerts in the summer. aspiration. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
You and I have talked about it.
We might be able to get a grant from the lawn tennis.
I have a contact with the Lawn Tennis Association when we were with the previous council. There is a lot of money come from the central UK government. It's administered by the LTA. And there are certain restrictions to how that money can be used, but there's a possibility that they may have some funding that we can dip into. So again, if that is the will, we could look interested.
Thank you. Next one. Wheelchair friendly, yeah. Maxine and I talked about this, and it's ongoing. This is already on the agenda. Look at it, it's a mess, isn't it? How can you possibly, and I don't know whether any of the signs are in Braille. We've got to be inclusive to every member of society. Maxine will talk about that, but there is a solution to that one. Next one. Funding and partnerships, exploring grants, LTA, lottery funding, our own resources. We do have some money that we can spend towards it. The potential for local fundraising and sponsorship from local and national businesses. We can carry the can around the shops. We can find out if businesses on the industrial estate will support us. Support from schools, clubs and community groups. Well, everybody'd like a nice tennis court that they can put their sixth form players or their junior tennis guys on there. Volunteer opportunities. We've already talked about the volunteer opportunity. I bump into people on a regular basis. Mr. Waite, I think his name is, and he was cleaning up a litter. He was cleaning up. We've got a good community here, and people will do anything for our village. We just need to tap into that resource. Next one. Next steps. Well, I think perhaps we ought to have maybe a suggestion would be for you guys to have a committee, a realization committee, not a fact finding, a realization committee to make it real. We need to go into the schools and talk to them and tell them what we want to do and see what they say. So, you've talked about this before, I'm sure. I'm sorry, I'm just a newbie here. A site assessment and planning permissions, we need to get somebody in, and somebody that knows about how we need to look at access for people with disabilities. Applications to funding, well, one of the things that I said to Jill, every single night, 5 or 6, 7 times a night, the EasyJets fly over here and they change their flight plan. There are several crews that work for EasyJet that live in the village. Perhaps we could take the can to EasyJet. They've just made £1 billion this year. Right? A little bit of community funding will do them good. And imagine the pictures in the press. Yeah, here we are. Establish a working group for delivery and oversight. That's what I'm asking for, effectively. That's the proposal. Call to action, let's create something lasting for generation and the next. There is a whole generation of youngsters out there that have been sitting on stones in the park. Let's make the next generations over the next couple of years be proud of the village in which they live. I think that's probably about it. Any more, Mark?
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Well done, thank you.
We can go there for any question. You go slowly. Thank you. Mitchell.
No, sorry, so you go first.
I can say the suggestion.
Sorry, Jill. I'm
It's your suggestion.
on the deck side. Would you follow?
Okay, just to be clear, there is a compound working group already in existence.
Yeah.
And that's who worked on that area originally. That's already in existence.
Right.
This is more.
There is a King George V Users Committee specifically for users and issues that come up through them. So that's not a rebuild. Okay, they will be consulted. So the group you're asking for is either covered by the existing compound working group or council can choose to set a new working group.
Yeah. One thing I don't want to do is I don't want this kicked in the weeds. I don't want to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. Let's get all the groups together and get something done about it, because we can't have another generation of youngsters deprived of what they could have.
Oh, that's fine. So if you're asking for a working group to be set, sorry, Rob, do you have a question? Oh, sorry, Rich.
Right, go on, Mark.
Really good thinking. But one thing worried me about what you said. We'll go to the schools and we'll tell them what we're gonna do.
Right.
We'll ask them what we're gonna do.
Right.
Because it's very easy to think of what we used to do when we were kids. It's not relevant today. We've got to be very careful about imposing what we used to do and what we used to like doing on the younger generation. Can I finish, please? Yes, please. I think I've read some articles on Facebook recently about skateboard parks. There's a lot of frustration, I think, out there about exactly what you're saying about the facilities that we have there. I think really key to this is not going to tell them what we're going to do. Ask them what they need, what they would do. Not to do everything that they say, but we've got to consult the younger generation and not impose them on what we thought we'd like when we were younger. Okay?
Rob, I agree.
But great idea, great.
Rob, I agree entirely.
Good.
Get everybody in and get something done about it. But one thing you've got to remember is if you ask a load of 15-year-olds what they want, they'll want a room with computer controllers.
Yeah.
It's got to be activity.
Yeah.
And the skateboard's good. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
We
We can still filter.
Just a point of interest, the last consultation around 6 years ago now, nobody asked for indoor computer space. They all wanted dance studio space, activity, basketball, zip wires, swimming pool. So yeah, it was very much outdoor activity. I've got Rachel next and then window and then in general.
It's more to make council aware. So a committee has been set up for Caldicot Skate Park. A petition has started today about the Caldicot Skate Park. I've been in talks with a national tarmac company about sponsoring some works. They are trying to get capital grants to get lottery bids. So I'm just a bit nervous now that if the two projects clash in applying for funding, some of the skaters were going to come along tonight.
Who's the committee for skate?
There's about 18 of us in this group chat at the moment.
Share that with us.
Yeah, because I've asked them to reach out to the clerk and arrange
Oh, good.
a meeting.
Great.
So
Yeah, what you mean, we don't want to apply for funding, it's the same thing at the same time.
yeah, so it's just making sure that
Yeah.
something is done.
Thanks. Okay, then I have window next week.
It's following on very much about the council problem. But having said that, it's great to hear the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Some people have been working an awful lot. I know that I go 40 odd years back. It's great to hear it. And the world has changed. But we had a leisure centre that had a dedicated youth area. And you have tennis courts here at the leisure centre. Now, and it's as a result of the cutbacks in local authority funding that led to the demise of a lot of services, and quite like the comprehensive group is very much a centre of Caldicot Town. Let's get to point perhaps the Rob is making. Yes, you need to engage and they need to be young people's ideas. Not ours, not assumptions, they must be theirs. Each study is involved in a number of consultations with the kids. And what was magic at that time, and I go back 30 odd years, was that when we actually engage with young people and they come out with their ideas, they were a lot different to those we thought. One of the things they wanted to do was have their own dedicated space outside the village. They wanted to put it in the castle area. They wanted to put it in a castle area as a park. Because they didn't want people criticizing them for knowledge. Right? So, yeah, that's a very important issue. If you're serious about engaging and changing things with young people or supporting young people, then what we require is
dedicated detached youth worker who can go out for all the kids in Caldicot and get their ideas for the kids themselves are the ones inside it. Because I'm an old 40. You know, we've all adults in here, and we may have very clear ideas, but it's their ideas of the things that we're actually working with, and they may not be what we think is appropriate at this point in time. And that's the reality. And if we want to start, are we serious about bringing about change, then what we need is a detached youth worker that can get in touch with the kids. I've been involved with the kids that were going to school and what have you, we were taking a part on them. And that's really, if you're serious about it, that's where we start. And the handstand, yes, we were talking about this 5 years ago. That's a great idea, and it really is a magic idea. And we love to see it. And it's a way of developing the culture again within the area. We did speak about that around about 10 years ago. There were proposals, and we actually had a budget at that point in time. But it didn't materialize. You're quite right. What we should not do is come up with these ideas of our own without getting the support first. So the investment needs to be in support for the young people and adults in how they actually want to have these things happen. Not us as a committee, it's them themselves. So it's an engagement process first. Then you get the changes. The demand that the education is very good. He knows what it's like working with kids and how you get the best results on it. He started making the points that he made and it's very important. But it's an engagement process first. It has to be, otherwise we will not bring about permanent change.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, and I got Jim, I think you're there.
Yeah, I just want to say something regarding the skateboard park. I remember when Bill Edwards, the late Bill Edwards was a member of the council. He spoke to kids all around the place, and they wanted a skateboard park, and they wanted it where they wouldn't be a nuisance to anybody else. Which is why the skateboard park is over by the leisure centre now. Where I live, which is not that far away, there's no bother here. I can sometimes hear that skateboard park is absolutely rammed full every day of the week.
Do you go skateboarding, Jim?
Yeah.
Oh, I got 2 weeks. Yeah. But, yeah, and regarding the tennis court over there, and enough of them.
And there will be a million questions and a million answers to.
Yeah, I just need to.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But right now we're asking if you want to use the existing compound working group that was set up originally to look at that footprint, or you want a new working group specifically for the ideas starting with what we talked about, Mike, right?
Yeah, can I just actually say on this, obviously, come about 4 weeks' time, the makeup of that particular compound working group will be ratified again.
Okay. Yeah.
So what might be an idea, councillors, at this point in time is for you to do, as you've actually said, bring it into the compound working group and make it, perhaps give it a bit wider remit.
That's 7 members.
And then you decide who the members are of that at the May meeting.
Yeah.
I think I've said what I've had to say. I take on board fully what Wyndham has said. I can see the wisdom in everything he said because I'm trying to teach you guys to suck eggs. But the reality of it is, guys, unless we make change happen, change won't happen. And we'll be talking about this in 2 years' time.
So I've got Bob and then John. Bob?
Yeah, I've listened to what people have said.
I'm sorry, I missed you.
And I think we have to make a start on this. And if we've already got a subcommittee.
There is a compound working group.
let's pass this to that subcommittee, ask them to meet urgently to discuss it all, come back with some suggestions, not necessarily proposals that we spend this and that. Come back with suggestions as to how we can actually start to try and implement some of these ideas. Because it may not be everything that the youngsters want, and talking to the youngsters, I think, is absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Because you can put the most amazing sports facilities there, youngsters don't want to use it, they won't go there. You know, so we need to start, let's get that committee together. And look at these proposals and maybe come up with some other suggestions as to what can be put there. But we've got to make a start on it fairly quickly.
Yeah, just for information, at the moment, that compound working group is, that's Wyndham, Jim, myself and Frank, Bob Shudlier, Pete Strong and John Woodfield. Obviously that group hasn't met for a long time because we haven't had anything to do on the ground. But that obviously will be that will be changed at the AGM on the 21st of May, if council wishes to change those and add membership. Yeah, that's the existing members of those group, okay? Okay, so I was waiting for, Pete was, and then, sorry, John, it was Pete.
No, yeah, Pete,
and then John.
Yeah, although we need to move as quickly as we can, I don't think a matter of, 3 weeks or so is going to make too much difference. So I think it does make sense to make sure we've reconstituted the compound working group. It would have become a very different thing if we're picking this up. And we need people with the energy and interest in working really hard at that. And it might be that, some of the members of the committee would want to commit fully to that. So I think we can afford to wait for those few weeks.
20 days, 21 days.
Yeah, that's right. Quick point on the youth worker. I don't think we need to employ a youth worker. We've got an excellent youth service operating out of Caldicot. All right, they're employed by MCC, but they are very much in touch with the local youth. We had a brilliant presentation for John Klein at the Summerside Area Committee. We might want to invite him here sometime if he's willing to go. He'd be really impressed with what they do, and they will certainly, I would think, help us in finding out what the local youth would want to see.
Thank you, Pete. John and then Jill, please.
Thank you, Anthony. Very, very good presentation. My first thought is that we've just finished discussing Christmas lights, £100,000. Well, that's going to be small change by comparison to what we would be considering. I think the removal of the current play park is inspirational to the other area, whereby it does release from the residents in that area from the noise. So I think that would be a must, but it won't be inexpensive to do that at all. So you really are talking a significant, really, really significant amount of money to get this done. I think we should. I think, as Councillor Strong just said, you're going to have very, very energetic people and committed to recognising where funding can be sought from and drag everybody in to it, because you're talking a 7-figure investment in this at least.
Okay, thank you, John. And then go, Jill, please.
Okay, Jill, one thing before you finish, this will be my very last word, I promise, until another one comes up. I make the point that this isn't just for the kids. It's not just for the football players. It's for everybody. It's for people with disabilities. It's for people that can't see, that are blind. It's for everyone. And I think that we should get everybody in on it to design something which is fit for another 10 years. You're right. It's going to cost more than £1 million. But if we can have £1 million to make Woodstock Way that little bit wider for people that would never get out of the car anyway, we can do this to get the youngsters and the old people out being active. End of. Sorry.
Thank you. So, then are we saying that the compound working group that we've changed membership probably on the 21st of May will start that project?
So we look at the meeting then for the reviews as well. I mean, because there's a agree with what you're saying, you know, with energy and think differently and everything. But also the King George V, they never. So,
It hasn't met for 2 years.
no, so is there a need for that? No, I think we need to. Just, do we just get different more active people on that, see, and make them the.
Okay, the user groups, as I say, is for the users of the bowls club, the football club, guides. It's any existing users come along and use that forum to say what they would, what they need, what they want on the ground. Existing users.
Like, they existing users, aren't they?
But that hasn't taken place over 2 years. Tony Easton is the chairman of that one at the moment, but again, that could change come 21st of May. But obviously, they would have to be consulted before anything. Everyone is involved complicated before any plans were made for the area.
So, it would be good to have that remake again, because it was like we never beat, so it was there.
Yeah, I mean, it did used to be twice a year. Okay, Bob.
I agree with some of the things that Bill has said about the bowls club and football club. But I think we need to cast the net a little bit wider.
On consultation, we'll be casting it as wide as we can possibly.
Because if you go to the bowls club, you will only get what the bowls club will. Same with football.
Any group.
So we need to cast the net for ideas wider than that.
Okay, we've spent quite a lot of time debating it, so but what I'm asking you is then, on the 21st, when you have new membership for the compound working group, are you happy for them to take the steps on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you move that?
Yeah.
On a second?
Make it one committee.
But you mean for users and for,
No, not users.
you mean for the compound working area? Okay, agree?
Agree.
Thank you very much. We're just going back to 14 then, which is the King George V entrance, which you have a photograph of.
I've seen it.
So you're all aware of what's there. Thank you. So, number 14 on your agenda, you know, you all know, we've looked at very, very often how we can get, how we can get access onto the King George V without having the gates locked. Yeah, and they've been locked for a long, long time, as you know, because we had issues on the field over there. So what I've asked Mark, and he's come up with some ideas of what we could put in there in order to give us best access. So we got that a bollard system where the gates could be opened each day like they always were. There's a bollard in the centre. Can see some pictures, Mark, or look at that.
Lucy, can you bring up the
The bollard in the centre of the what would have been a drive-in area. Yeah. Trams, is anything they've got access if it's still instead of those two is, yeah. But it will prevent a vehicle drive. Obviously, then there'll be for the bollard. The moment we give keys gates and guys. So similarly, they would have a key for the bollard system.
I don't disagree with that, that's fine. You want more than one ball, I'm not, that gate is quite wide.
Well, measuring here.
Because, if I could just say,
Sorry, Jim.
because, before we shut them, I mean, there was lobbying money there to take stuff to the boat club and that type of thing, you know. So, the only point of it, you might need two there, rather as opposed to one.
I think we've taken some measurements, so we need the one would prevent a vehicle, wouldn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, there's a couple of things on it. What you could do is do one, have the gates themselves obviously open, but rather than having sort of them parallel with the roadway, you set them on a slight V, and then you lock them in position at that point. It's got to be wide enough to allow mobility scooters through, to allow people with wheelchairs and all those types of users, whilst, as you're right, preventing the quad bikes and that type of vehicle accessing. You're still going to get motorbikes go through there, but in all honesty, if somebody wants to take a motorbike in there, they can anyhow, because they'll just nip it up by the side of one of the other routes. But they can't get vehicles. But you're right, we would look at it, Jim.
Yeah, but I remember a particular Sunday afternoon, several years ago, when we had the info that the gypsies are coming around.
The
And
travellers, you mean? Yeah.
They went in that, park in the area at the top end there. And the mess they made around that, I know when they eventually went after about 4 or 5 days, I think we put £500 or £600 it cost this council just to clean it
Why
up.
the gates have been shut for so long though, because of those issues. Sorry, Julian, you're.
Sorry, emergency vehicles for their
They would have a.
We can provide keys if necessary, but they would, no matter how, they would have the same problem they have now in accessing. During the week, about 4 months ago, the emergency helicopter landed and I went over to see whether they needed access. So during the working day, it's not a problem. It's a case of looking at what it is, because it is very difficult to get these keys cut for obvious reasons you don't want. You can put a outdoor padlock on them, or an outside padlock on it, so that what you do on some of them is you padlock it from the outside so that security teams could come along, and most of them have a fire service, for example, the ambulance, they have a bolt cutter and maybe just use a bolt cutter and shoot it off, they haven't got a key. The issue with that is, unfortunately, the traveller community often will send in an 8 or 9-year-old with long bolt cutters, and they did this at Lyme last year, and you're right, the clear-up cost for that, though, was £14,000. And they sent a young child through with a set of bolt cutters. They cut padlock off because that way, child can't be prosecuted.
John,
We've done the
that's okay. John?
Yeah, if councillors recall, when we were seconded down to the Mitel offices and Clark Wilson was here, we discussed this then, and I did some investigative work with the Hub and MonCC in regard to the barrier as such. Now, I'm not suggesting this is any worse or any better, but do we have a comparison, or would we undertake a comparison? I think chopping it down by a 9-year-old, this may not be any more difficult. If people are so entitled to get into somewhere, then they generally will. But I wondered if we had that as an option to consider as well as the bonard.
John, sorry, can I just be clear? John, do you remember when we talked about initially having a kind of framework, you mean a higher barrier, wasn't it? And we had a company to quote it for us. Remember, we could about 4,500. The problem was at that time that when they surveyed it, they said because of the width of it, the centre point would be too weak, which is why we then started looking at some other kind of barrier. Yeah.
But that, I think that was negated in the report that I put across. The centre point wouldn't be that weak. I think from KRL Construction, who are no longer in business, and there was a suggestion of a mounting on top of the 2 pillars there. And the suggestion previously that I took to council was one whereby the stanchions wouldn't be affixed to the existing pillars, would be inside, and the weight distribution and the weakness point have been negated by the proposal. But the content that I put forward and equally is in work currently and has not bent for the last 18 months at Mega. So
The option, sorry,
Just to say, with this version, if you look at the bottom left-hand picture, you see the actual locking mechanism is in the top. So that one is much harder for them to get into.
got it.
So where that's concerned, I'll be completely frank, I went for looking what was the most secure and lowest cost option. Not lowest cost option, but cost affordable. So no, I didn't look at it on the
Value.
Okay.
but this one is the drop down hub, so when it's not being used, it drops down into the drain.
Yeah.
As opposed to
That's it.
folding down.
Yeah.
This one would drop down. John, we don't normally take questions from
No,
this
I
point, but would you like to add?
a suggestion. Can you just keep one of the gates closed, make that sort of permanently locked with a lock rather than go doing as you expect. Just put a, like a, I don't know, like a bolt going down into the ground, that could be padlocked. And then you've got the wide enough access then for a wheelchair and whatever.
It's,
You
it's, a
put
poss-
gate.
it's a possibility. I mean, if you want both gates open,
You've got
as
that
the
option.
public are saying they want,
Yeah.
then this one is the solution. If you want one gate shut and one open, then that's another solution. But yeah, that's what councillor considering. Thank you, John.
Can I just say, that as far as John was saying about wheelchairs, that wouldn't be a problem. They got the two, ramps going up.
Yeah.
You know, you can go either side of the gates, you know, to go round. You know, a wheelchair or a tram or anything.
Yeah. No, when you mean is once you get beyond the gate, there's a
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can go to the gate.
Okay, so there's a resolution on your council. Sorry, Bob, you want to add something?
I think it might be interesting for people to actually know what the cost of this project would actually be.
Okay, well, you've got a cost in there.
That post is up on the screen at the moment, but actually costs £903
Installed.
installed. So we're actually talking about less than £1,000, and it would at least go some way to solve the problem we've got of people complaining that the gates are always damn locked. We can open the gates, we can open the dangerous to the public again. But now, in actual fact, I looked at the quote and it's £903.14. That's installed.
For one. For
That's
one.
done.
For one.
We do only need one.
And that can be located in the middle. And when the gates are open, I would like to drive my car through there.
So you asked you, there's a recommendation that members to resolve, to delegate the authority to the officers to proceed with purchasing and installing a bollard on the entrance to King George's Church in consultation with the mayor and the deputy. Obviously, consulting yourselves first. If you want to add something, please.
Can I move that? Because I think that's a very good proposal.
Second.
Be a show of hands for that. Very much. Questions, are we getting on to 9 o'clock-ish again? Okay. Go back to 16 then, which is VED and the Armed Forces update. Please, Frank, you want to? No. Pete, did you want to say?
Okay, well, I've got three things here to deal with one at a time. But VE Day, week tomorrow, scary. But what we got so far, we're having a commemorative event. I won't call it a service, not really a service, commemorative event at the Cross, 11 o'clock, deliberately involving the schools. So we've got 11 children for the comprehensive coming, would be more, but they're in the middle of exams. And I really thank Rachel for her helping contacting schools and in some health and safety stuff as well. 11 children coming, and they'll be reading out short poems. Oh, very short anyway. But they've written, yeah, okay, and in some cases published. The Welsh School are coming, singing a couple of songs in Welsh. Justo are coming, singing a song, and Castle Park are coming and singing one song, but leaving out around them. So they'll all be there. We'll have a few words from the mayor. We'll have the reading of the names and so on. I need to see Mark, hopefully Friday, Mark, if you're available, to sort out some of the final things. Joanne, John, can you get Joanne to contact me urgently on my town council email address? And ideally, if they can suggest a song they'd like to sing, because I'm on draft 4 of the programme at the moment. So
I'll do it this evening and I'll copy you.
if you will, that'll be lovely.
I've seen John the Baptist today.
Oh, excellent, yeah,
And he is up for it. He just wants some details sent. for
brilliant,
next
okay,
week.
yeah, okay.
Just to let you know as well, councillors, that following a chat with Councillor Strong, we've also ordered some bunting, a large VE Day flag, and we have got 10 of the 80th anniversary of VE Day wrangles to go onto lampposts in the town as well. We did think they were going to arrive yesterday, but unfortunately it was a stationary order and not any of those, so sorry, councillor.
We should get it.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting.
Oh, yeah, and just so you're aware, but then that's taking place, sorry, Bob, as many of you can make it, that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
I want to say a special thank you to Rachel Greenback, to helping me with the very much for your help. So my, you don't like being thanked, do you?
No, I
No, but I am thankful.
There's been a tremendous amount of work carried out by a few of the council.
I gotta be honest, Pete's done a lot of work on
And,
that.
and I would like to commend them for all that
Yeah,
effort.
thank you, Pete. We
But
do
it would
appreciate
be a pity if it goes to waste.
Why
What
would
we
we-
need is to publicise this more, because there are several organisations in Caldicot who are doing something for VE Day. And they're advertising on Facebook, on Twitter. So we need to acknowledge all this work and then let people know
Yeah.
exactly what's happening, so people go, oh, the council are doing things.
There
And
was
I
a few
think-
people asking me today on social media about have we got anything planned?
And I think if we do that, that's a big feather in the cap for the couple of people who put an awful lot of effort in.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, people. You know that. I appreciate the work.
I did put a reply on, the Facebook post asking what's going on.
Yeah.
So we can have several likes on that. I think one thing the problem in that the admin people live the Caldicot community site, they don't quite like to put on our stuff for whatever reason. But they don't moderate the replies. So you can sneak in
Yeah.
stuff by putting on as a reply to what I did. Everybody get, I did that, but we do need to do communicate more. We have got a post, haven't we, Mark? And if we-
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I will
Let me
get.
finish, Mark. Yeah.
Yes, well,
I think Mark will run off some for us and they can be picked up in the office over the next couple of days.
then you can
And
go
if you've got any
there.
places you can put them, obviously we've got to put them on the town notice boards ASAP. But I'll see Mark on Friday about that. So if that's the E day, okay, I'd like to move on. VJ Day,
We just mentioned a wreath layer as well on
say again,
as a wreath layer.
if we can get hold of a wreath.
If we get-
We're a bit late in the field to get a wreath, but we'll have various money anyway. And obviously we'll have a reading of the names just from World War II. VJ Day, Parish Council 45 held its maiden celebration on VJ Day rather than VE Day. What we're looking at the moment, no detailed plan at this stage, some sort of community picnic out here in the community orchard, which will be nice, a nice way of raising confidence about that. And also that we'll probably look at that, that'll be the point at which we bury the time capsule.
Yeah.
But it being an event actually out there, which is somewhere around there, that will bury that. I won't say any more about that, but the commemoration committee will pick that one up when it meets. Armed Forces Day, that's going ahead. As planned, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and it's shaping up into a good day. Fly past, parachute, 40-foot inflatable assault course, flight simulators, RAF band leading a parade through the castle with the local cadets and whatever military we can rustle up. Problem is, most of the military are elsewhere, places that we don't know about in some cases. So there's a lot of work going on to the catering and all the other stuff. Now, we've allocated some money, but with an understanding that some of that ought to go towards something in the town centre. We do have a problem there in that MCC don't have the staffing resources to do something in the town centre because it is very much based down in the country part, and everybody's going to be there. Neither do we have the human resources to organise anything. So it's not clear what will happen in the town centre. I do know that the town team, Aaron and co, and I think you know some about this, Mark, so I'm happy to hand over to you now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, town team, Aaron Reeks came to see me today. They are looking at doing something all day, and if I find the notes that I've made, I will tell you exactly what it is. Okay, so what they are looking to do is start at 9 o'clock with a market, a general market. They want to try and give it some form of relevance and relate it. Sorry, Lucy has just passed me a note. We just need to extend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all in agreement, it's not on there.
Yeah, I'll speak quickly.
Thank you.
So they're looking to start at 9 till 3 for the daytime activities in the town centre. 3 to 4 they want to do a turnaround, and then from 4 o'clock until 10:15 they want to do an evening event, which will involve them putting staging up and having vendors in to do street traders. They're looking at a street trader license. and then also having bands and various bits and pieces. The staging is going to cost them £600. The license fee from MCC is 125 for the street trading license. They've negotiated a deal with them now. I think two things that we could do to support this event, and Aaron would be, I think, grateful for that, is if we were able to see our way to paying for the staging directly to the staging company, we can claim the VAT back. And also then perhaps we paid the license fee. However, in return for that, what I have said to him is that he can't charge his normal 45 or 50 pounds per stall, because he needs to use this as a way to encourage more traders to come in, use it as a way to bring people inwards. And therefore, what he needs to be considering is actually street traders would pay literally £10 for the setting up of the gazebo if they're going to use a gazebo and a table, and then other street traders will pay a £5, so that at least then they are getting some money back into their coffers, because they may have to pay for some of the artists, they may have some other costs, but we're helping to keep the costs down for the market stalls. The idea being to try and encourage more market traders to come in, to make it a busier day, to try and do it. Not only that, but if he gets more in, then hopefully they will come back on and repeat and look at it from there. So it really is coming back to get your feel as to, because as you know, you delegated authority for us to deal with this, Councillor Strong, myself, and in conversation with the Mayor and Deputy Mayor, whether you feel that us paying for the stage and paying for the street license would actually be beneficial to getting in. The other thing is that he's talking about organising for the businesses in town as well, that we do a competition, that we have, I did mention to him, because something funny enough, Pete and I talked about that we bought some bunting, we bought some stickers that could then, if the shops applied for them, they could have them, we would provide that. Aaron felt they didn't need to do that. What you do is you have basically a theme that is the armed services theme, and then you have prizes for one that's got the best child's theme, or one that's got, say, the best army theme, navy theme, air force combined. That could be trashed out before Armed Forces Day. There you go.
That's all right, okay.
If I just make one point clear, we are not going to pay any money to Aaron or the town team. We would ourselves pay for the staging directly with the company that provides it. We will directly pay MCC for the street traders license. We'll sort out some of our prizes for whatever, but no money will go through Aaron's account. So I know there's no appetite on this council to do that for various reasons that I only partly understand. So put that clear. Sorry, Rachel.
That's okay. My concern with doing it that way is I don't feel like that event they want to put on is anything to do with Armed Forces Day, right? I would prefer the £5,000 be spent down at the castle, where it is a safe environment for public, because I'm also a little bit concerned of who will take liability from people coming down from the town centre. If our name's attached to that and attached to that, I don't want people thinking that, you know, it's the health and safety that I have a bit of a concern with, and how that would be managed, people moving between the two sites.
Just for clarification, we put £5,000 aside from the community budget, and this any spend that we've discussed would come out of that £5,000. On a second, picking up Councillor Grumback's point, if certain criteria were set in stone to alleviate your concerns, would you then be in favour?
I can't vote anyway, because my company's for the tender as well. So it was just, I wanted to get, that was my personal opinion.
Well, yeah, but I have to take your understanding of health and safety is far greater than mine in public events. So if there was a criteria in place that Caldicot Town team signed up for, would that alleviate your concern? Just say no.
Let's just be really clear that we wouldn't be running an event.
Absolutely wouldn't be, no.
Okay, so if there were a fund left out of the 5,000, if there were a fund available there for whether that be town team or anybody else, the business in the village could ask for money, like similar to we did to the Jubilee celebrations, yeah, where they could ask for money towards decorating their business or sort of theme of thing. This is not specific just for town team. Yeah.
No.
So if they then run an event in the village, then we are not liable. We are paying for equipment. It is their event. Okay, yeah.
And without, sorry.
Sorry, Dana?
Do we have any idea what with the staging?
Yeah,
Like
it's just about
£600.
600 quid.
That's £600. So all in all, we're looking at probably something up to about £1,000 for the different bits to this, which would leave 4,000 to go straight to the actual helping with the event itself in the Castle and Country Park.
You know what I'm going to say here, councillor. I want 1,500 kept back, please.
Well, no, you can't have 1,500 kept back because Rachel doesn't want any kept back. You want 1,500 kept back. Let's settle on 1,000.
Okay, I'll second that. I'll second that.
Yeah, and to be honest, I would have preferred to give the whole lot to the actual event in the council, but I read the room and there was a strong feeling in the council that we ought to be doing something to have something in the town centre. Yeah, and I've gone along with that. I do fear that nobody will be in the town centre on the day. They'll all be down there if they got any sense. That's certainly where I will be. I will come to the town centre for the evening event, and that's another reason perhaps why we shouldn't charge the traders very much at all, because I'm it's a bit uncertain. But people will drift out of the event as time goes on, as their kids get fed up with, being on the flight simulator or queuing for the flight simulator. They might well drift into town, and it's an opportunity. Like any opportunity, it's a bit of a risk. What's going on, but let's run with it as the best alternative that we've got, really.
Yeah, so we've got a resolution there then to spend 4,000 on the armed forces, and that's for 1,000 for community groups to apply for funding for something in the village that day.
Yeah, that includes the money for the staging and the.
Then the town team can apply for that.
Fine. I'm just running some of these.
Is everyone happy with that? Because that was a resolution, nobody said yes to that.
Send one round one way, one round the other. Okay.
I understand Councillor Strong would like £1,000, but in the back of my mind, I've got something we discussed 1,500. I did think we discussed.
Well, I said
agreed on.
The hope was that.
no, we didn't agree on any amount actually.
Okay.
But I said that what we would looking is if we didn't have anything in there, if you remember, I said I would be looking to claw back up to 5,100. But there was certainly wasn't a resolution for that.
Resolution now, then do I have somebody to read that one?
Because we've already got a resolution.
So the £1,000 will be kept.
Yeah,
for
we'll keep that.
community
Yeah.
groups.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So sorry, it's so late again. We have got one item left, I think, on the agenda, haven't we?
It's the last one, and
no.
it's sacked off.
Okay, so we're going to move to number 17. If you're in agreement, we'll move that to our next meeting.
Finance meeting, probably.
Okay, next finance. Is that okay? Because we are on now 9:10, is it? And some of these people have been here since 10 to 9 this morning. Okay, so thank you very much. Is there any, just to note them and the time of the next meetings, you've got 4 then, 1 to 5 actually down there, haven't you? Yeah. Okay. There is an allotments working group on this Friday.
10 AM.
Yeah. Okay, allotments working group this Friday. All happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much for your time again tonight. I think it was productive. Okay.
Julian, are you thirsty? I've got a terrible thirst on me.